The Big Chill. This is the funniest movie you're ever going to see about death and disillusionment, and one of the most accurate depictions of old friends. Alex, a brilliant scientist who walked away from a promising career, has committed suicide. His college friends reunite at a South Carolina mansion for the funeral, and they stay for the weekend, eating and drinking great meals and reliving their glory days as broke student revolutionaries, a stark contrast from their modern lives as successful professionals. Thrown into the mix is Alex's young girlfriend, who seems less disturbed by his death than any of his friends, some of whom haven't seen him in years. The cast is about as good as it gets. Glenn Close and Kevin Kline, a doctor and a running shoe entrepreneur respectively, own the big house and act as Mama and Papa Bear to the motley group. JoBeth Williams, her from Poltergeist, is the only other relatively stable person there, both available and unobtainable at the same time. There's a palpable yearning between her and Tom Berenger, who gives my favorite of all the strong performances in this film. He's a successful TV actor who cannot bear to watch his own cheese-tastic 80s action show, and along with Close, he's the only friend who wears his heart on his sleeve at all times. On the far end from Berenger are Jeff Goldblum and William Hurt. Goldblum oils his way through the movie, cynical and grotesque and brutally blunt.
Perhaps given my style, I seem more nakedly opportunistic or jerky or... what was the other thing?
Manipulative?
Whatever. But really all that's happening is that I'm trying to get what I want.
Hurt, on the other hand, another favorite actor of mine, is a pill-popping, impotent nihilist with an extremely dark and wicked sense of humor.
You never know why anyone does anything. I don't know why I chose these socks this morning.
Oh, there's a great equation. Your socks, Alex's death.
They're pretty sad socks.
I believe the old theory that everybody does everything in order to get laid.
Who said that? Freud?
No, I did.
We laugh at Goldblum because we can't believe he just did that, and we laugh at Hurt because we can't believe he just said that. The seventh friend, Mary Kay Place, has at once the weakest and most important storyline. She's a successful lawyer who really just wants a baby, and that's a plotline that probably would get this movie lambasted today, and it doesn't really do her character any favors, but Place pulls it off with aplomb. She's a tragic figure, but so is everybody else. Finally, we have Chloe, played with innocent impishness by Meg Tilly. At first, she seems to be a vacuous, callous sex kitten.
I found him.
Oh, God, it must have been awful.
It was a real mess.
So what are you going to do now?
Oh, we cleaned it up.
She slowly reveals herself to actually be tuned into everything around her, just on a frequency the others can't hear.
I don't like talking about my past as much as you guys do.
But if you feel like loving me, if you got the notion.
Now, it may sound like sexual tension eats up a lot of the runtime. It does, and it doesn't. The movie has much bigger things on its mind. None of the characters are objectified except for Chloe in a couple scenes which are kind of a fake-out to set expectations low for a character who has a lot more going on than she seems. Storylines do converge as couples pair off. One of these storylines, I will be honest, feels icky enough to almost kill the movie for me. Another is deeply charming. And the third, as we find out, is the film's definitive statement on the subject. Sex cannot solve problems. It's just another thing, just like music or death or careers. If this movie is obsessed with anything, it's love. Everyone talks about why and how much they love each other, and especially how much they loved Alex. They have next to nothing in common today. A couple of them have reasons to despise each other, real reasons, but they can't let go of their friendship. Among the many great ensemble cast comedic dramas of the 80s, there is a sort of progression through three unrelated films. The Breakfast Club has strangers who get thrown together in high school and they become friends. They learn about the self through the other. Thanks, Hegel. And despite Anthony Michael Hall's fears...
So on Monday, what happens?
Are we still friends, you mean?
Yeah.
You believe these people will still be friends on Monday because we all have unlikely friends. Next comes St. Elmo's Fire, a movie I confess I dislike despite its fine cast and a great soundtrack. You see a motley group of friends scratching their heads about what to do post-college. They spin apart from each other in the whirl of life. The Big Chill picks up with a similar friend group roughly 10 years later. The past glues them together despite their wounds. The biggest wound of all, of course, being Alex himself. The departed, Alex, was a troubled genius who bounced from one menial job to another until the day he took his life. We never learn why, but the answer is probably given in one of the movie's best moments when JoBeth Williams is invited at the funeral to play Alex's favorite hymn. This is the movie's central message. You can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you just might find you get what you need. But on the other hand,
Be careful what you want, young lady. You will surely get it.
the lawyer who wanted to champion the innocent found herself revolted by her depraved clients. The TV star finds himself constantly sought after, but is totally isolated. The popular radio psychologist finds he can't even come close to saving himself. A major theme of the movie, and of friendship itself really, is safety. Everyone knows each other so well they can make the bleakest jokes and know they're going to be taken in the right spirit.
Last time I spoke with Alex, we had a fight. I yelled at him.
That's probably why he killed himself.
The jokes themselves are a form of shelter from their loss. The baby-crazed lawyer openly admits that she wants to conceive with one of these men because they're the best men she knows, and she trusts them in a world full of losers and wolves. The opulent house, far from being just an ostentatious show home, is open to anyone in need. Alex sheltered there in his darkest times, and used it as a springboard to create his own home, a beautiful cabin in the woods. These 7 people can discuss anything with each other. No secret is safe, but no secret will be abused or used as blackmail. As I mentioned at the start, this is a very funny film, and it's not just because of the catty and black humor between the friends. Director Lawrence Kasdan also pokes fun at the characters' idiosyncrasies, because the characters come first. Case in point, there's a scream. We assume it's because Place has just discovered that Hurt is impotent, but it turns out it's because a bat has invaded the attic bedroom. Everyone argues before going to help.
Oh, God, I hate them. They're like rats with wings.
No, pigeons are rats with wings.
Once in the attic, Hurt, Klein, and Berenger engage in combat with the poor little bat. Most films would have dipped into pratfalls, with the comic lead getting whacked on the head, but The Big Chill uses this as a character moment. They troll each other.
Oh, shit!
They display a complete lack of manliness, and then they open the skylight to let the bat out.
Whoa. Okay, now we got a fair fight.
There's no resolution, it's just a moment to enjoy these people enjoying each other's company.
I know you wanna leave me, but I refuse.
For years before I ever watched the movie, I thought the soundtrack was one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. Kevin Kline's character has refused to move past the music of his youth, and you get the feeling that the stream of 60s and 70s hits is him spinning vinyl all weekend. Yes, it is idealized and nostalgic, but that's what the movie's about, the remembrance of things past, and old friends trying to make sense out of the present and the future.